Welcome back to the Street Talks. I'm MN Cappo. This is Jacksanktheboat, and today our special guest is Misha, aka Solid Professor. How's it going, mate?
Oh, thanks for having me, guys. I'm good. I run a YouTube channel called Solid Professor Music, and I interview people. I film DJ sets.
You seem to be super into this kind of minimal techno.
I have enough of bloody diplomas on the wall, so I'm just interested in music.
Why'd you lean into like the Solid Professor, like for your aesthetic? Yeah,
So-
it's like one at the front, like the professor, and then the audience is like the classroom. It's the same dynamic. I really
100%. Yeah.
How do you like you interview everyone? You interview the minimal techno guys and the hip hop guys and everyone who's at the show who's willing to sit down. Like you'll interview people. How does your attitude change when interviewing different people? Like how much do you cater the questions to them? How do you prepare the questions, etc.? Just
Now I'm 40 years old, and I thought, well, if it's not now, if I start now, I still have a chance to be successful in the music industry, and I have some skills that I acquired before that I can use in the music industry.
Welcome back to the Street Talks. I'm MN Cappo. This is Jacksanktheboat, and today our special guest is Misha, aka Solid Professor. How's it going, mate?
Oh, thanks for having me, guys. I'm good.
That's good. So do you want to tell us a bit about yourself, where you're from, and what do you do day to day?
I'm from Russia, but I've been in Australia for 21 years now. Pretty much all of them in Canberra, and I teach at the university, Charles Sturt University. I'm a lecturer there. I'm also a student at CIT. Started studying sound production course in the COVID time, and decided that I wanted to become a DJ and film DJ sets. So that's how that was even before I started interviewing people. Interviewing was sort of a spin-off of that. So I run a YouTube channel called Solid Professor Music, and I interview people. I film DJ sets, events from reports from events, other videos relating to music. Yeah, and that's pretty much what I do day to day. Go to work.
You're a busy man.
Come back home and do video editing, or go to events and hang out with people and have fun.
Yeah, definitely.
I see you go to like a lot of different events locally. How do you find so many things to go to?
Oh, well, I don't think I really go to many. I sort of maybe twice a week sometimes on the weekends. But it's just through Facebook, all these events popping up and people, inviting me, and or sometimes I'm interested. I go and, get in touch with the organizers and ask them if I can come and, do some filming. These days, I kind of, if I go somewhere, I might as well do something productive than not just having. Well, it is fun for me anyway, but it's kind of. I just have to kind of feel like I want to do something there as well, not just.
You want to be a part of it, eh?
Yeah. Well, it's cool, talking to musicians, meeting new people. Just very, very interesting, creative people, and you learn. And I've always been interested in music, but I have sort of been putting it off and focusing on other career. But again, with COVID, and now I'm 40 years old, and I thought, well, if it's not now, if I start now, I still have a chance to be successful in the music industry, and I have some skills that I acquired before that I can use in the music industry. So I thought 40 years old, well, yeah, I've got enough time to make it in the music industry.
Definitely. I love your attitude, man. So do you remember the first sort of, let's talk about hip hop shows. Do you remember the first sort of hip hop show you went to, and who introduced you? How did you come about that?
You mean in my life in general?
Oh yeah, or just like in the Canberra scene sort of thing.
In the Canberra scene? Well, in the Canberra scene, I think the first, because after I moved to Australia, like early 2000s, I wasn't paying really much attention to American rap or especially Aussie rap. I was fully into Russian hip hop and listening
Yeah.
to Russian rap. So I didn't even go to any concerts until 2021. So my first concert in Australia was Rap FC's first concert that
Yeah.
came time in January at Sideways, where you performed, where we first met.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. And how how did you hear about that event? Like, did you have a friend that was going? Did you know the boys
Oh,
back then, or
yeah, interestingly, a friend of mine from Russia who lived with me here in Canberra for a year in 2009, he somehow met Jama back then.
oh yeah.
And since I sort of, started, you know, being sort of active in the music scene, my Russian mate from Russia said, well, I should hook you up with this American rapper. He's a cool guy, and he put us in touch, and we met with Jama, and sort of we hit it off straight away. We had like so many creative ideas to discuss on the first time when we met each other, and ever since then we've been really become close mates, and
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah, that's how, through Jama, but through Russian, yeah, through Russia basically.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
And I want to talk a little bit more about hip hop afterwards, but I do have a question. Like, you seem to be super into this kind of minimal techno trance. Like, how would you label your favorite genre?
I think it's probably would be, yeah, I guess minimal techno.
What does that mean though? Like, because I see you use that word like it's a buzzword, but I've never heard.
It's music genres, they're so sometimes kind of vague, and that's sometimes I find it difficult myself to kind of pinpoint what subgenre or subgenre of, it's techno. There is sort of hardcore techno, minimal techno. I don't know what else. Yeah, I think that's about it in techno. But it's techno basically. I like just slower BPM. That's all. I don't like I like psytrance, but not my preference. Yeah, 125, 126 BPM though. That's
Nice.
Yeah, that's classy.
But the thing is, minimal. It has what it used to mean like 20 years ago. It means, I guess, totally different now because the music has evolved so much in 20 years. So I don't think minimal is even a accurate word to call it, because it's pretty like complex and a lot of different sounds and things going on. So it's it's a totally different topic: music genres and evolution of music.
Yeah, I think what gives electronic music genres their distinct names is the ratio between wubs and bleeps. So you've got so many wubs for so many bleep bloop bleeps, and
I love that.
But most of it still comes in sort of eights, right? Or what, the 16s and 32s. I guess when it's trance is a bit more, but yeah, it's again, this is something that I'm also still wrapping my brain around. Like I haven't gone through much of my course in sound production, so just kind of started touching it. So there's a lot to learn, a lot that I don't understand either.
Did you finish the Cert 4 last year?
No, because why didn't I finish? Oh, I was part-time. That's why. Yeah. I was part-time, and yeah, I'm not in a hurry. But now I actually I'm not even gonna get any qualification. I discussed with the course coordinator, and they're gonna let me just take the subjects that I want, music-related subjects. And
Oh, that's good.
yeah, and I'm not gonna get any qualifications, just the knowledge.
Well,
Yeah. To be honest, like, I'm not dissing the course. I love the course. I did the course too, but I don't think the qualification is that important, if you know what I mean. I think the experience is way more important than the qualification. Because, you know, like, you can say you're qualified in something, and that's cool, but I don't think that changes too much. But yeah, I definitely think it's good what you're doing, choosing what course you want to sort of take, what classes you want to take. That's awesome. So
Yeah,
I got, yeah,
you know, some people might need it for work, for example, if you know they want to be like start in the music industry and they want to,
it's good
you
to
know,
have
help
on your
set up.
resume, I
Yeah,
guess.
so yeah, I
Yeah,
guess
yeah.
some people need it. I just don't. I have enough of bloody diplomas on the wall, so I just I'm just interested in music.
Yeah, of course. So I got a kind of funny question. So you're at a show, like any show, like just a live, I don't know, open mic sort of event. Doesn't have to be hip hop. And you get put on the spot. Like, they're like, you need to go on stage and perform a set. What are you gonna do? What are your thoughts?
Well, like,
What would you turn to? Like, would you do some DJing? Would
well,
you,
it depends on what gear I have. I look around. What do I have? What do I have to work with?
let's say you've got any choice of gear or anything.
Uh, yeah, I guess. Yeah, DJ table would probably be the most, well, something that I'm most comfortable with working. Yeah, yeah, the decks. Still,
Cool.
still yet to learn other types of gear like the beat making machines and all that, samplers and stuff like that. I'd like
Mm.
to play with them as well.
Have you ever done like scratching? So like with proper turntables and stuff, or you've
No,
done more?
no,
Yeah, yeah,
haven't.
cool.
Well, I start like I've 1 year ago. I didn't even know how to do the mixing that I
Yeah,
currently
yeah.
do. So no, I've never tried scratching
Is,
or turntable mixing.
is that something you'd be interested in learning, do you reckon, or dabbling with?
Well, probably not. I'd rather more interested in learning how to produce my own
Yeah,
tunes than scratching. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
cool.
That's what I
Definitely.
eventually plan to do.
Yeah, nice.
And learn how to DJ, because there's like you can always improve your craft, and I'm still like very rookie, and there's different gear as well that you got to be able to kind of be comfortable using different, and it feels different, and it sounds a bit different, and yeah, still a
Mm,
lot for me to learn.
I saw
yeah.
the first ever Solid Sound professor
Oh,
perform
what a
on,
bloody disaster that was! That was like
completely flubbed it. I
uh,
think he had to redo it the next
the
day.
worst.
I'm
No,
so
no. The thing is, I didn't have to redo
that
it. I didn't have to redo it at all, because I figured out what went wrong, and I
oh
sort
yeah,
of
sorry, my memory's blank.
fixed it. But music did stop, which is like the worst that can happen, basically,
Mm.
for a DJ.
Yeah, that's right. The music stopped.
Yes,
Oh,
Oh, it's the worst.
that was bad. But yeah, and I was all dressed up, cameraman being filmed on camera. I had to, edit that bit out. But I released that set. It's
it's
on my
funny. It went from me filming you then, and then you filming a couple of the times I got up on the stage, and then you
yes.
interviewing me, and then me interviewing you now. So
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. Well, I remember when you got up on the stage first at that Rap FC block party.
wow,
concert. That
First hip hop gig I ever went to. That was
Really?
insane.
Oh, really?
Damn.
The fact that you were there from like literally my first ever show. First time I saw Cappo perform, like, and you were there. That's nuts.
Yeah,
That was a
well, that was my
disaster, that
second.
show.
It was my second in Australia, second hip hop show.
But I don't think it was a disaster.
Oh, it wasn't a disaster, but it was just, it rained a lot and all the equipment, most of the equipment got wet, and we still pulled through, which was good,
See,
but it
that's
was,
noticed you guys pulled through.
yeah,
Yeah, I think it was all right.
it was pretty
you know?
dodgy. It was pretty dodgy. There was water all over the electrical cables and stuff like that.
Well,
But
Go
yeah,
doing
I
that
think
one.
it was all professional because see, it didn't blow out, didn't do everything was fine because it was done
it was
well.
fun. It was fun.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was a good show. Definitely. So let's talk a bit about hip hop in Russia, because I don't think I've heard any Russian hip hop. So what's the scene like over there? Like, I know it's been a long time since, or have you been back to Russia since, or?
Oh yeah. I go back. I go back occasionally, like
Okay.
every 2 years. I try to go. But yeah, it's I think it's fucking huge. Sorry, it's huge really because I think I don't. It would be interesting to know for me to know whether it's bigger in Russia or in America, not in terms of the money, but in terms of how much music is being put out.
Yeah.
Like I remember in like 2000, like 2010, let's say there would be like at least one hip hop album released per day, usually
Oh, yeah.
more. So now it's kind of rappers can be successful and make quite a bit of money. They um, have big concerts with a lot of people, and so it is a big industry. I'm very happy that it is flourishing so much. It I don't know. Yeah, it would be interesting to see how many like album released per day in Russia and in America because I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if Russia has more.
And do you think Russia listens to a lot of overseas music and hip hop and
Yeah,
stuff too?
definitely. Yeah, American, a lot of American, also a lot of European, like French, German. Yeah, it is
Yeah.
popular. There are big hip hop artists come to Russia regularly. Russia has like there are several hip hop festivals, annual festivals that happen, including like online battles. There's then like a YouTube channel battles, but then annual festivals.
Oh, yeah.
And I think annual festivals it's really really good for the hip hop culture and scene and helps talented young artists who may not have been known earlier to show themselves to a bigger audience potentially. And because the way they do them is like sort of a bit of a competition, so you perform and then you sort of advance.
Yeah, like a tournament sort of thing. Yeah, awesome.
I wish they did it in Australia. There are no hip hop festivals in Australia.
I was just gonna say, how beneficial do you think that would be to our culture to have sort of battle tournaments or hip hop festivals or even like artists that are big enough to be like touring state to state? And there are artists, but not from Canberra. So
yeah, well,
there's some artists like I know
yeah.
what you mean. Not many. Like Genesis Owusu is always touring. But yeah, like I know what you mean.
But it's different to a festival, when you have really sort of like rappers coming from all over Australia and overseas guests performers. So there could be different kind of caliber. Of course, there could be guest performers who are sort of respected and well-known rappers who've been around for a while. But then there will be opportunities for others to perform as well. The younger
Yeah.
artists.
There are some. but you know, it's just like it always feels like they're trying to start something. It doesn't like it's part of the culture as of yet.
Yeah, right.
Well, it's just
So-
I guess I don't know. There's a lot of I guess financial aspect. There's a lot of money involved in putting on a festival.
It's also population too. Australia has a really small population, and me and Randy talked about this a bit last week. Just like less opportunity, less funding because of the population being so small. Yeah.
But you know, yeah, I mean, it will be smaller perhaps, but it's a shame that we don't have an annual hip hop festival in Australia. You know, like a 2 day, like a 2 or 3 day event, even 1 day event.
Maybe you could organize one. Maybe you could run one.
Yeah.
Well, it's a risky business.
Yeah, definitely.
I've got other interests, but I'd probably be interested in helping someone organize.
Yeah, definitely. So would you say, like, we won't stay on this topic too much, but I'm just a bit curious. Would you say it would be a good idea, like, let's say you were thinking about marketing music, because I market my own music and stuff. Would it be a good idea to target Russia, do you reckon?
Uh,
Or would it?
Difficult to say
Yeah.
because, well, I guess people sort of have their own sort of preconceptions. You know, it's either sort of the American that they listen, or if they're into Russian rap, they're listening because it is in Russian.
Yeah, gotcha.
And that's how I was for a long period of time, and missed out on a lot of great albums and artists in hip hop because there were just a lot of great artists in Russia and a lot of great music in Russian rap. So there was just way too much for me to digest the Russian than to worry about.
Yeah, of course. Do you prefer, here's a hard question, do you prefer like English rap or do you prefer Russian rap?
I prefer Russian rap, definitely.
Yeah.
It's I think it's it's a lot more complex. The language is a bit more versatile, and you can really get a lot more creative, I think, than you would be able to in English.
That's interesting. That's very. I might have to go listen to some Russian rap. Not that I'll understand any of it.
Well, for your birthday, I got this. I'll show you. I got this CD. Your present. It's signed, but this is a 2003 release. Actually, this is the group, my favorite Russian group. This album is also on the wall there.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be just interesting to hear the beats as well. I think
100%.
In terms of the beats, again, my opinion is subjective, but I think there is more kind of broader variety of beats.
Yep.
But in Russian hip hop now, it's the new trend is that there is a lot of young artists that that new school, old school, but now it's like I think it's already the new and new school. That do not worry about the sort of the lyrics or the message that it's just a bunch of words that rhyme, but they're popular, and it's kind of the trend that people. Doesn't matter what it is, people still eat it up.
yeah, definitely.
Say that about American hip hop too. People have been saying like old heads versus like kids since the birth of hip hop, actually. Since hip hop was invented and hip hop was the new thing, and there were rapping like this. Yeah. Like that happened. That was the new hip thing. That was like their Playboy Cardi, right?
Yeah.
it's just been like that, and it's been like that in England. It's been like that in America, in Russia. I feel like
I just
again, you
not
gotta
my that wouldn't be my thing. Yeah, I kind of like the beats are important, but I think the lyrics is probably for me the most important. So it has to be.
Well, I don't care because they're in Russian. So
Well, yeah, that's that. Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, when you listen, for me, it's difficult to understand hip hop in English. Period. So I don't.
Yeah.
I don't understand everything. I get like a percentage of, you know. So I don't. I might miss all those, especially in Australian hip hop. I might miss a lot of it.
Then on that, what's your favorite part of English rapping? Like when you go to a show, Cappo is performing. What do you like about him performing?
Well, I think it depends. Sometimes you can like different things about the person, you know. One rapper you might like, you know, he's fast rapping and like very fast flow, but then you'd look at another rapper and you wouldn't like it at all, you know, you wouldn't like them doing it. So it's really I think I like clever rhymes probably, and like sort of this kind of slick meaning, and I don't like fast rapping. Like I kind of like slow, not too slow, but like average, I guess, speed.
Yeah, definitely.
So if someone's using words you don't know, they're trying to be real lyrical, but because your English is your second language, like, do you feel like that would turn you off?
Oh, it might not turn me off necessarily, if even if I don't understand everything that they are saying, but if the whole sort of vibe and the flow and the music kind of makes it the atmosphere, I can still enjoy it even though I don't understand the words fully, and that's how. I mean, that's how I've been listening from the beginning. You know, before I couldn't speak English at all, so it was just it's and pretty much didn't know any words.
I'm gonna jump in with Misha on this one. I'm kind of the same, man. Like, there's a lot of stuff because I'm not originally from Australia. I'm from France. There's a lot of words that I don't understand, or sometimes there's some complex rhymes where I don't really understand what it means. Sometimes I'll go look it up, but I still enjoy it. Because sometimes, you know, it's like, even though you might not completely understand, you can tell that it's dope, and you can tell that there's a meaning behind it. But yeah, that's me too. I would say, to be honest, I would say a good percentage of rhymes I don't understand, to be honest with you. But I just go with it, and I enjoy it, and I'm also sort of listening to the beats and stuff, and the delivery and the flow. So yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as Misha here.
I think it's several components make the whole puzzle together. Yeah.
I wanted to add the same exact thing on top of that. I wanted to say, when I listen to music, a lot of the time I just not in the environment to listen to the lyrics at all. Like, even if it's a song I love the lyrics of, most of the time when I listen to music, I'm not listening for the lyrics. And when I do, there's lyrics I miss. Like, it's the same with everyone. Everyone's enjoyed a song without caring what the lyrics are. And it's the same for every genre, even if it's a lyrical genre, hip-hop. Yeah. So that's super respectful that both of you can just like say that.
Oh, I learned to listen hip hop in albums. So like I'll get an album, and then I'll listen to the whole album, and then I get the next one, you know, listen to a few albums, but then of course your brain does not catch everything.
And sometimes when you listen to them again, like you then catch new things.
And you're like, wow, it's still interesting. It still sounds new because you know you didn't hear that before. So that's
I played
that's
in a
cool.
row the first listen.
How many times?
3 times in a row. When it's under 30 minutes.
Or
Oh yeah.
Wow,
some
like
tracks I can listen to like 10 times in a row. If like
Mm.
let's say on an album, my favorite track, for example, of like my favorite artists, and it really,
Yeah.
the bomb, and I can just listen 10 times and repeat that track.
Yeah. For me, albums are more like I will listen to them more than once most of the time, but I like to think of an album as I've said this before, probably in this podcast. When you go to a gallery, right, and you look at paintings or statues or just art in general, right, you're probably not going to see that same painting for a while unless if you go there every week, which I doubt anyone sort of does that.
some people do.
So some people do. Yeah, I'm not saying no one does that. But I kind of look at it the same as albums. Like I'll listen to an album and probably not listen to it for a long time because I feel like it's a sort of one-time experience that I can revisit. That's just me. Yeah, that's
Like,
just my
my go-to example this year has been, since it dropped, Vince Staples' self-titled album, because
that
that
was a
album,
dope album.
I listened to it 3 times in a row. When I first heard
Wow.
it was like, it's forgettable. Second time I listened to it, it was back to back. I just let it kept looping. Um, and I just like noticed things that I remembered from my first listen, and I picked up on things I didn't remember. And then on the
Oh
third,
yeah.
it was like I was singing along to the hooks. I had
Oh, that's cool.
bars already. Like I had things that I was waiting for later in the track list. I had samples that I knew were gonna pop up that I was waiting for. Like that's
Right. Interesting.
fun to get familiar in literally one day with an
Mm.
album.
Well, I think it's like for me, it's totally normal to listen to an album like 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
Like those tracks that you, Capo, sent me from your upcoming album, the demos.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I listened to them. I think yes, 3 times to even be able to comprehend, to even get a feel, or
Yeah, yeah, of
to be able
course.
to provide some sort of feedback, or which I still have to do, by the way. I gave you some brief feedback, but
Yeah.
I might just do it here. I felt it was like really old school vibe. I like the beats, my style of beats that I prefer.
Mm.
Um, yeah, good. I like I mean, without getting into detail, looking forward to it coming out and to see what it will, what shape it will take, in the final
Definitely,
version.
man. Definitely.
When is
Thanks
it
for that.
gonna be out, this thing?
I'm looking at probably the end of next year at this point because I'm looking at doing about 20 tracks, which is going to
Uh,
take some time.
The good old school, hip hop
I
albums that had,
wow.
18 tracks or something.
Well, I'm actually looking at at making 25 to 30 tracks and then breaking it down to 20 and then possibly putting out a deluxe or an unreleased EP or something like that.
Or
How
like
many
a
But yeah.
double album,
Sorry?
how many
double album, or two CD.
Yeah,
Well, like there's no
possibly.
CDs these days, but well, talking about actually CDs, that's another
Mm,
interesting conversation, because CDs market in Russia is still pretty big.
huge.
Yeah,
wow.
I wouldn't say huge, but it's still pretty big, and like new. It's quite common that artists would have a new release and have it like on a CD.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I
so
um I bought a Nomic CD the other day and I
yeah,
went
me
to put
too.
it I went and
At your
put I put
birthday.
yeah, I went to put it in my car and I had never used the CD player in there. So I wasn't sure what to expect and it just wouldn't come out.
Yeah,
So it's
That's the
stuck. Yeah,
album.
that's the one. It's stuck in my CD player. So I have to figure out how to get it out.
I actually, he's lucky because he messaged me last night. He's like, "Man, so what's your feedback on the album?" But I still haven't listened to it. But I'm
Yeah.
just realizing my new computer doesn't even have a CD-ROM. My laptop doesn't have
Oh
a
yeah.
CD-ROM.
That's the one
Luckily, my
tricky
old
thing with
computer,
CDs.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think these days, I think what he should do is he should just those people who buy a CD, he should send a link with the MP3 files.
He will. He said he will. It's just not out yet, so it's a pre-release sort of thing. So once it is out, he will send it through. But yeah, Jack, did you have something to say before?
I was just gonna ask a bit of a cheeky question. Mikhail, do you have a favorite Canberra artist who you've seen?
Well, Cappo was my. I'm just there are some contenders. So
competitive is all. I think it's fun.
I think now that I have, well, I really like 5Qs. I think he's
yeah. He's got a really awesome style.
Yeah,
very old school,
and the way he kind of, his persona and everything. I think So yeah, Capo, you got like a contender in terms of who's my favorite, because I really at that time at Street Uni, he got me as his new fan.
Wow, I'm so glad he got up on stage, because he's
so young too. That's halal.
Halal.
I'm glad he got up, because there's been a few shows where he's pulled out, and we've all, part of the workshop, we've all tried to push him a bit. So it's really good to see him get up.
Yeah, he's so fun. His freestyle stuff. I mean, stage presence will eventually be great, but it's not there yet. But his like actual rapping ability goes, and
the bloke just knows a lot about hip hop. Like, he's a great person to chat to about hip hop. Knows a lot of the old school stuff.
He knows more than you, that's for sure.
I'm gonna once my gear is not hooked up properly here, but once I hook it up, I'm gonna do some recording and start writing some raps.
Nice.
Play around with that.
Are you gonna write in Russian or English or both?
Mostly in Russian, I think. But I'll do some in English, because what I want to do in my DJing, I wanna record some samples and then put some effects on them and play around, use them in DJing. But as part of that, I'll just be recording, shit. So
definitely. That's awesome, man. So what are your sort of like goals? You do a lot of things, like you're a professor, you do interviews, you dabble with the music and the DJing. What are your sort of goals for, let's say, the next 5 years? Like, do you want to keep teaching as a professor? Do you do music on the side? Do you want to kind of like jump into the music and do more of the music stuff? Like, what are your goals?
Probably being realistic. I don't think music I'll be able to support myself on music for the next 10 years, or if ever, so I'm kind of, so I will keep my job working as a professor, and get better at editing, get better with sound, and maybe in the next 5 years, hopefully, I'll have my own album out.
That's exciting.
Album, maybe more than just hip hop album, maybe some other, electronic music tunes, and make connections, and just be. I'm not gonna be an ordinary musician.
Yeah, definitely. You look like a statue, Jack.
I have that was me raising my hand for Mr.
I know.
It's looking exciting. Yeah, I'm excited.
Why did you choose to go for leaning into the fact that you're a professor for your music branding? Because I remember when I first stumbled across you, that was because you were just like a fellow student at CIT. First saw you, and then I kind of discovered a bit more about your life and like what your job was and what you did, like with the seeing music stuff, and slowly got better camera equipment and started actually making some decent recordings, and now that's like really cool that you do that. But why'd you lean into like the solid professor, like for your aesthetic?
That was my question. You stole my question.
Well, solid has always been. I've wanted to actually. I have had a business name registered called Solid Street Sound. Actually, I'll show you. This is the still old sort of logo.
Yeah.
So Solid Street Sound, Solid Street Sound. When 13 years ago, I decided that I want to get into music. Maybe I wanted to do rap, and I wanted always to make my own beats. So I started buying equipment, speakers, and I thought I'll register a business name. And I can't remember how solid it used to mean. Well, it means something, but it used to stand. I think each letter used to mean something too. It's been a while, but solid.
Oh yeah.
So solid. It's my idea back from the Solid Street Sounds, like a label name, maybe even. So that's how it started. And then Professor, I don't know. My friends call me Captain. So Captain Solid. My Facebook name is actually, if you translate it from Russian, it says Captain Solid. So this is going to be my rapper name, Captain Solid. But I didn't want to have a DJ name, same DJ name. So I don't know. I can't pinpoint now why I decided specifically, but I thought it was kind of noticeable.
Yeah,
it's keeping it real too. It's really authentic.
I thought that people would kind of be sort of curious.
Definitely.
But it's also like, I think it says a message of confidence too.
Yeah, of course.
So it's like one at the front, like the professor, and then the audience is like the classroom. It's the same dynamic. I really
100%. Yeah.
There are those connotations there as well, for sure. Yeah.
So with your work, like you say, you're a professor. Do your students know that you do music at all? Do you kind of keep that sort of on the down low?
Some of them know. Yeah. Those that are sort of have been, whom I have known for longer, and that are sort of studying with us for longer periods. Yeah. Some of them are subscribed to my channel.
It's like that. You're like the coolest professor ever.
So my people, my coworkers at work, they know. So yeah, I am. Yeah, that's, I guess. Yeah, it's sort of, I'm a kind of a party guy, and it's like I have these two sides to my life.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. And how do you? Because obviously you're so busy, you do so many things. Do you have a specific way that you like plan out your time? Like, do you have a schedule? Because obviously, with the amount of stuff you do, it would be so easy to get burnt out.
Well, I just whenever
do you ever sleep?
I do sleep. You'd be surprised. I've been sleeping quite a lot lately. Actually, disappointed that I've been sleeping too much. But I think with music, with videos, because I've got so much content, and there's some good content that I want to get to, but so it motivates me to keep doing the stuff, because there is, and I'm also starting to run short on space, on storage. So
I
have to kind of keep making videos, and I have to, like, I've been deleting some of the old footage once I put it all together.
Somewhere. Have them all backed up online somewhere. Google Drive, iCloud, wherever.
Well, no, unfortunately not. They're on YouTube. Well, they're on YouTube, but the actual raw footage, it's just too big. That it's like gigabytes and gigabytes. I'd have
Yeah.
one session could end up 150 gigabytes easily if I record like 60 frames per second DJ set
On 6 different cameras too. You've got multiple cameras.
yeah, so it adds up.
Yeah, it would.
Definitely.
But
Definitely.
yeah, I just I think it's just I guess the drive to be creative and to release. I'm not able to make music myself yet, but this is something that I already can make. So I
Yeah.
want to release the content, put it out there. Yeah.
On that, one of my favorite things that you do is the interviews, obviously. How do you like you interview everyone? You interview the minimal techno guys and the hip hop guys and everyone who's at the show who's willing to sit down. Like you'll interview people. How does your attitude change when interviewing different people? Like how much do you cater the questions to them? How do you prepare the questions, etc.? Just
I don't prepare the questions. I don't prepare for the interviews at all. Usually, I have sort of a basic set of questions that I ask, but then it's I actually have to be quite focused in those interviews, and because you want to keep like the conversation. So if there is anything person said, I want to ask like a follow-up question, but then at the same time you want to remember the questions that you wanted to ask. So it's kind of a lot of stuff ups too, and yeah, I don't prepare, and I've thought about it, and I thought, no, I'm not gonna prepare. I'm not gonna bother, listening to some tracks of the artist before. I just be like
Just
a stranger.
see the opportunity, go for it.
Yeah,
I like that.
Maybe that way, maybe it's actually going to be more interesting. That I don't know about them, and I ask questions, and I do stuff ups and stuff. Sometimes I look at the footage and why couldn't you keep your mouth shut? And
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Well, I think we better wrap up. But do you have any questions for the audience or for whoever will see this in the comments?
Well, no questions. I just wanna wish you guys all the best.
Where can we listen, or where can we watch your videos and
just
everything you do?
On YouTube, Solid Professor Music. Go check them out, and maybe they will inspire you to create music or to do something similar, or just to get out there and listen to some music. Because for me, that's basically what drives me at the end of the day. It's music, and that's why I'm talking to you here. Yeah.
And if there's someone like in the audience, in the Facebook audience, that has, I don't know, that does music or has a story or something, are you open to interviews from anyone that might be interested?
Yeah, but I prefer to do them in person rather than.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I haven't done any Zoom interviews. Maybe in the future, but yeah, ideally in person.
In person, yeah, definitely.
I also like to do, I kind of enjoy doing interviews at events because you've got the music playing on the background. There's something going on, and it kind of gives it a cool vibe.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on the podcast today. It was great to have a chat with you and learn a bit about your background and what you do. It's been a good podcast. I'm MN Cappo, Misha, aka Solid Professor.
Thanks for having me,
Jacksanktheboat. Jack, do you have one more question or anything?
I was just trying to butt in and say who I am. I'm Jacksanktheboat. This is Misha. That's MN Cappo.
yeah. I'm glad, guys, that we've met and that we are acquainted and in touch. And good to see you guys, progressing with your own things.
One more thing. I'm gonna send you some of my new stuff. I want to know what you think. Would that be something that we can organize? Yeah.
Yeah, of
Hell yeah.
course. I'm here.
You're a bloody good fan to have because you actually listen to it, man.
Thanks, man.
Definitely. All right. Well, it's been good, and we'll catch you guys next week on the podcast.
All the best, guys. Thanks. Cheers. And you're gonna beep my swear word out. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Me
Sorry
one.
about that.